This was a hospital bed, folding hospital bed. Angels of Mercy. Louisa May Alcott, author of Little Women. All women who were doctors and nurses during the Civil War were pioneers in their field. Trunk. Prominent ladies of the American Civil War. Mary Livermore, Sanitary Commission, Parades of the Grand Army of the Republic. A mystery rose at the end of the war as the location of some 60,000 Union soldiers reported missing.
President Lincoln asked Clara to find out what happened to those soldiers.
Look at this stove. That's pretty elaborate. Cast iron parlor stove. First two ladies, Mary Ann Todd and Verena Banks Howell Davis. This is where they were buried. This is the wives of the presidents, Mary Todd Lincoln and Verena Davis. Stephen Foster. Look at this piano. Photo of Fannie Lawrence Ricketts, Brigadier General James Ricketts. He was wounded in the Battle of Bull Run, First Bull Run. Taken prison by Confederates. She found him and cared for him inside a Confederate hospital. Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. A side saddle for the ladies. Mary Todd Lincoln. She was from Kentucky, Lexington. Mary Ann Montgomery, wife of Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest. This was one of her dresses. Stephen Foster. Famous, but he died broke and penniless.
Harriet Beecher Stowe, daughter of a Connecticut minister.
Author of Uncle Tom's Cabin. And there's the book right here. It sold 270,000 volumes. Julia Grant was the wife of Ulysses S. Grant.
Marina Davis, wife of Jefferson
Let's
Davis.
go upstairs. Kate Cumming worked in the Army's medical department. She was a Confederate nurse. Until we meet again, Jackson's headquarters. Stonewall Jackson saying goodbye to his wife, Barbara Frenchy. She was a poet. Antonia Ford was the daughter of a Fairfax who helped the Confederates.
Nancy Hart was a spy for Stonewall Jackson in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia.
Now this is about mourning, the wedding bonnet, and the mourning bonnet. And they would wear these black dresses for a year. I don't know how long. These were spies, a Union spy in the Confederate White House. Elizabeth Bowswer, Crazy Betsy. She was a spy for the Union Army, and she lived next door to the Confederate White House and spied on the Confederate government. And this is Miss Pauline Cushman. She was an actress who became a spy for the Union in Tennessee. She was caught, or she was arrested by Nathan Forrest, who was going to have her hanged, but she pretended to be sick, and they postponed the hanging, and then the Union troops came into Nashville and took it over, or took Franklin, whatever it was. Rose Greenhow was a Confederate spy who lived in D.C. and spied on the Union troops and the government. A mourning dress. Look at this old singer, operated by a foot pedal. This is about, she was a Confederate spy from West Virginia. She would spy on the Union forces in Shenandoah Valley for Stonewall Jackson. None but the brave. Women who traded bonnets for kepis and marched off to war. There were estimated to be about 400 women who passed as men for a time. There's one right here, Frances Hook. She was a bugler, I guess. There's another one here, this lady, Katie Bowell. She served as a musician and later sharpshooter. This Albert Cashier was actually a lady. This lady here, Frances Louisa Clayton, joined the army with her husband and fought with him. He was killed in battle. And she was injured as well. That was when she was discovered to be a woman. There's another one here. Kate Varney, Prince Mary Gettysburg. She enlisted in the company of the volunteers. This lady was a Canadian nurse. The women of the Allegheny Arsenal explosion. There were 78 young women killed in this explosion. They were hired, a young woman who were hired to make cartridges. So they would put the cartridge in a paper, insert the bullet, and fold it up. And it was very dangerous because one spark would set it off, and that's what happened. A horseshoe spark set powder that was on the ground on fire, and it created an explosion that killed 78 young women. Jenny Wade was the only civilian killed at Gettysburg. She was in a building. A bullet came through the back door, or through the door, and hit her in the back and killed her. Order number 11, August 25th, 1863. Union General Ewing issued General Order 11, judged by one historian as to be the harshest measure against civilians during the Civil War. 4 days prior, William Control's gang of over 200 men crossed from Missouri to Kansas and had sacked Lawrence, burning it to the ground and killing many of its inhabitants. Order number 11 was retaliation. It ordered the evacuation of an area 85 miles long and 50 miles wide along the westernmost border of Missouri. It led to ruin of thousands of lives and created a wasteland. Almost everyone was banished from their homes, and barns were burned, and most livestock was confiscated. Mary Surratt, wife of an innkeeper in tavern in D.C. One of her sons, John, was a Confederate courier. He met John Wilkes Booth and other Southern sympathizers who conspired for the death of the President Lincoln and the Union leaders. They would hold their meetings at the boarding house of Mary Surratt. 2 days after Lincoln's assassination, she was taken into custody and convicted by a federal court and condemned to death. Her appeals for clemency were denied. On July 7, 1865, she was hanged by the federal government. She is now believed to have been innocent, convicted by association and circumstantial evidence. Tickets for admission to the execution of the assassins of Abraham Lincoln, July 7th. She was the only lady that was killed, that was hanged by the federal government.